What to brothers and sisters, welcome back to Haiku. I do, and I'm still about that good South African hip hop, man. Now, today I don't want to get into long intros because there's so much more to get into when it comes to this song. But yeah, I'm doing a reaction on a song by DJ Switch called Where It Go, and he features Stogie T, YoungstaCPT, and Nasty C. And apparently, initially, Switch only had YoungstaCPT and Stogie T on the song, and they were trying to figure out who the third person they could get. And they started with Ginger Trail. They wanted to get Ginger Trail, but apparently they couldn't. I don't know why. Then they went on to KO, and I'm sure KO at the time was still trying to deal with the whole collapse of Cash Time Fam, so he wasn't there like musically. And then they ended up with Nasty C, which I think was a great choice because he was the only one that I feel could have really killed, the hook and the chorus on the song, like he actually did. So yeah, it turned out to be a beautiful song. Now, one thing to take note of is when it comes to Youngster CPT, he's actually a Muslim. So every time you listen to a song by Youngster CPT, you need to keep in mind that he's very careful about what words he uses on the song. Because things like hoes, drugs, and alcohol, he can't sing about those things. So you always need to keep in mind that this is a Muslim rapper that you're actually dealing with here. But yeah, without wasting time, man, let's just get straight into this joint right here.
It's the switch up, baby.
There's always something missing, man. It's never clear. Need to polish here and there. If I wasn't a Christian, man, I ain't mad though. It's never fair and square. That's just the way it goes.
That's just the way it goes, man. This chorus actually reminds me. There's someone who went into one of my old videos and they actually commented there to say, stop it. You're missing all the bars. And to me, it's kind of crazy because this person left all of my videos and he went into that one video where I actually put a disclaimer to say that I couldn't hear what the rappers were saying and therefore I couldn't get into the bars. So this guy chooses to attack me on that one song out of all the videos that I've done. And I'm like, you know what? That's just how the way it goes sometimes, You can't please everybody.
I'm a nice guy. Tell them house niggas hating to my likers.
I'm an everyday 5 micer, which is basically a reference to the Source magazine. They've got this 5-star rating where if your project or your verse or your song is dope, they rate you like out of 5 stars. So but they call it like 5 mics. Instead of 5 stars, they call it 5 mics. So Stogie saying he's an everyday 5 micer. Daily prayers 5 times. Daily prayers, that's the Muslims, the Salah times where you pray 5 times a day, which I think is a shout out to Youngster CPT. Because it's good sometimes when you're being featured on a song to mention something about the person that you're actually featured with. So that's basically a shout out to Youngster CPT. And it says, I'm a nice guy, turning house niggas hating to malaikas. Right, so there was a time where house niggas, Kwaito niggas were actually hating on hip hop. So he's saying he was turning those house niggas that are hating to his likers. But the way he says malaikas, I think he's also referring there to the old Afropop group, South African Afropop group called Malaika, which actually fell out. I'm not sure if it was 2010, probably before then even. So he's using that play to say turning house niggas hating to my likers, but also to Malaikas, the group, because the group basically fell apart, in 2010. So that's a nice play there.
Prayers 5 times, I'm a nice guy. Tell them house niggas hating to my likers. I'm on nice things, little white fans with a nice swing in the back for my like these and I'm Nikes. They don't say a lot of Santin, but you keep taking me back to that one thing. What happened with Ricky? What happened to back to the city? What numbers you shipping? What car was you whipping?
So basically, Stogie is saying, well, he starts it by saying, I want nice things, right? A white house with the swing at the back for my lighties, which are the kids, and some Nikes. They don't sell out of Centin, so he wants those exclusive Nikes. They don't sell out of Centin, but you all keep taking me back to that one thing. So he's saying, look, all I want in life is to have nice things. But every time I run up on niggas, they keep asking me the same thing to say, what happened to Ricky, right? What happened to Back to the City? What cars you whipping? You know, what numbers are you shipping? You know, so, well, the first question is what happened to Ricky? I mean, no one really knows what happened to Ricky. The only thing we know is that there was a time when Ricky was actually signed to Stogie T's Motif Records, and Ricky Rick wanted to drop a single called Boss Zonke. And the thing about that song is it wasn't really a hip hop song, and it was very Durban Kwaito-esque at the time. And Stogie T, knowing Stogie T, he was like, nah man, we ain't dropping this. You know, this is whack, basically. But Ricky Rick believed so much in that song that he actually decided that, you know what, he's going to buy himself out of his contract with Motif Record so that he will be able to drop this single. You know, so I think that's where the feud actually started with Stogie T and Ricky Rick, because, you know, he believed in that record. So it's what happened to Ricky, what happened to Back to the City. We don't know what happened in Back to the City, because again, I think I once spoke about this, that we don't really have a lot of footage online when it comes to the history of South African hip hop. You know, those who do document it sometimes don't put up the footage, so we don't know what happened at Back to the City. All I heard was apparently Stogie went on stage, and before he performed the song by any means, when he was calling MT to join him on stage, he apparently went on a bit of a rant there, you know, before they actually performed the song. But we don't actually know what happened, you know, because we don't have access to the footage, or maybe I haven't come across the footage. You know, what happened to Ricky, what happened to Back to the City, what numbers are you shipping? That's big in hip hop. Everyone wants to know how many numbers you're shipping. You know, what car you whipping? You Hello Kitty nigga, what the fuck was you thinking? So Stogie once dropped a song called Hello Kitty, and the whole industry was like, nah. You know, it was a mess because he was trying to go in some direction. I think he was experimenting then. People are like, nah, we're not fucking with this song. So, you know, you Hello Kitty nigga, what the fuck was you thinking? You know, so people, every time they come across him, they keep asking him these questions, and I think that's what he's actually referring to here.
Back to the city, what numbers you shipping? What car was you whipping? You Hello Kitty nigga, fuck is you thinking? This rap shit is tricky. I started my business in the back of my mama crib. Wasn't nobody fucking with us. Now they know more than us, they feel me, but something is missing. You are a little different, inspired by what is written. But somebody lying in some of these lines, I'm tired of fucking listening.
You wired a little different, inspired by what is written. So he is wired a bit different when it comes to hip hop, because he was inspired by what is written, and what is written is an album by Nas. So we know that if you're someone who listens to Stogie like I do, you know he's inspired by people like Nas, Cool G Rap, you know, all that old school type of hip hop. So inspired by what is written is a reference to Nas's album.
What is written? Somebody lying in some of these lines, I'm tired of fucking listening.
Somebody lying in some of these lines, I'm tired of fucking listening. Too many capping out here on these rappers' songs, but we're not gonna get into that.
I vibe with out of town niggas. Nasty C on the beat for the win, bitch. Sippy T gorillas hit the kill switch, you bitchin'.
I vibe with out of town niggas, which is true because on the song, you know, Stogie is from Joburg, DJ Switch and YoungstaCPT are from Cape Town, and Nasty C is from KZN. So those are out of town niggas. And the thing about Cape Town, that's actually where South African hip hop started. But you know, a lot of people are not ready for that conversation.
Nasty C on the beat for the win, bitch. Sippy T gorillas hit the kill switch, you bitchin'.
That's just the way it goes. That's just the way it goes. That's just the way it go. I ain't complaining, no people kiss ass. Performing fellatio, balls of the crime scene, call up Horatio. CSI come through whenever I cameo.
YoungstaCPT with that flow, man, it's crazy. He says that's just the way it goes. I ain't complaining though. People kiss ass performing fellatio. So fellatio, you know, like foreplay, right? He says the bars are a crime scene. Call up Horatio. So Horatio is a lead actor on, I think it's CSI Miami. So he's a lead actor there, and you know CSI, they investigate crimes and stuff. So that's why he says his bars are like a crime scene. Call up Horatio, because he's murdering rappers on his songs. And then he says CSI comes through whenever I cameo. So a cameo is a feature. So when he says call up CSI whenever I cameo, it means there's gonna be dead bodies on the song. So CSI better come through to investigate those crimes.
That's just the way it go. I ain't complaining, no people kiss ass. Performing fellatio, balls of the crime scene, call up Horatio. CSI come through whenever I cameo, killing the radio. Even your lady knows, says I'm a hero. I never save a whole Cape Crusader. I got the crazy flow, flowing like rivers, inspecting that H2O. You are incompetent, you are incapable, yet they be booking you. You getting paying shows, making a fool of us. If you be making dough, I am a vato. This is in Mexico, I am in Fuego, meaning I'm fire. Burning you heavily, lyrically lighter. The greater creator, they calling me Tyler. My boss was hot, my future is brighter.
Hey, those lines there, man, those lines there. The greater creator, they calling me Tyler. My past was odd, my future is brighter. So that line, we know he's referring to Tyler the Creator, right? But Tyler the Creator was actually part of a group before called Odd Future. So that's a very nice play there to say the greater creator, they calling me Tyler. My past was odd, my future is brighter. So Tyler the Creator, Odd Future, the name of the group. So that's a dope line scheme there.
You be making dough, I am a vato. This is in Mexico, I am in Fuego, meaning I'm fire. Burning you heavily, lyrically lighter. The greater creator, they calling me Tyler. My boss was hot, my future is brighter. Girls that Naya, 2015, hanging at the taxi, haven't got teeth. Wolf on Wall Street, looking for the sheep. Sacrifice lambs, you think it was Eve. Nasimi Kurban, walaikum salam. I'm straight from the Cap all the way up to Bram. YoungstaCPT, remember my name. I'm killing the verse and I'm done.
Kapstad Naya 2015, right? Which is when this song actually dropped. So he says Kapstad Naya 2015, looking for
Wall Street, looking for the sheep. Sacrifice.
Wolf of Wall Street, looking for a sheep, right? So he's basically comparing himself to a wolf in the hip hop game, and he's looking for the sheep, basically, because you know wolves attack sheep. So he's going to a rhyme scheme where he's comparing him, like he's using him and the rappers in comparison with animals, basically.
2015, hanging at the taxi, haven't got teeth. Wolf on Wall Street, looking for the sheep. Sacrifice lambs, you think it was Eve.
Sacrificing lambs, you would think it was Eid, right? So Eid is I don't know whether it's a holiday but it's basically Eid Mubarak, which is, in I think Islamic terms, it means a blessed feast. It's basically a feast. So he says he's basically sacrificing lambs. You would think it was Eid, right? Lambs is also referring to rappers, that he's killing rappers. You would think it was basically a feast. And then he says, what does he say?
At the taxi, haven't got teeth. Wolf on Wall Street, looking for the sheep. Sacrifice lambs, you think it was Eve. Nasimi Kurban, walaikum salam.
And then he says, now Simi Korban. Korban, I think it's another Islamic term for animal sacrifice. So he says, see me sacrificing these animals. Wa alaikum salam, which is it's another term for may peace be upon you, right? So when you look at this whole scheme, he's dropping Muslim bars. Basically, that's what YoungstaCPT is doing.
Wall Street, looking for the sheep. Sacrifice lambs, you think it was Eve. Nasimi Kurban, walaikum salam. I'm straight from the Cap all the way up to Bram. YoungstaCPT, remember my name. I'm killing the verse and I'm done. That's just the way it goes. So man, there's more you confused with it. It's like no one can move with it, groove with it. You're too lyrical, there's room for improvement. Bitch, if there's room for improvement, I'm getting lit with my crew with it.
Yeah. So Nasty starts by saying, they're telling me, I think here in this first part of this verse, he's talking about people who listened to his first album, which was the Price City mixtape. So this is the criticism he was getting after he dropped Price City mixtape. They're saying, Nick, your verses are cool, nigga, but there's more you can do with it. You're sounding a little like so and so, because he was sounding like very American on that album. So they're saying you're sounding a little like so and so, but there's more you can fuse with it. It's like no one can move with it or groove to it. It's too lyrical, right? There's room for improvement. That's what he's saying. And the album was very lyrical. Like, it wasn't one of those albums that you could be, partying it up in a club with. So it was a very lyrically inclined album. So he's basically saying these are the things that people were saying to him based on that album. That's what I think.
Little like so and so, man. There's more you can fuse with it. It's like no one can move with it, groove with it. You're too lyrical. There's room for improvement. Bitch, if there's room for improvement, I'm getting lit with my crew with it.
Bitch, if there's room for improvement, then I'm getting lit with my crew in it. So that's a nice play on the word room for improvement. Because when they say room for improvement, they don't mean an actual room. But he says, hey, if there's room for improvement, he's getting lit with his crew in it. And we know Nasty C's crew. I'm assuming he's talking about Audio Mac, which is his DJ. Who else? Tellerman. Who else? Yeah, basically people on Tall Rex. Gemini Mage, I think he hangs out with him a lot also. So that's Nasty C's crew.
Lyrical, there's room for improvement. Bitch, if there's room for improvement, I'm getting lit with my crew in it. Who got the juice? We gon' run them up. Tell them swallow your pride and cough it up. Ain't it ironic? Is it ironic? Do me came to switch the volume up, but he say hello kitty, nigga, are you nuts? Return of the king, now the bar is up.
Isn't it ironic that Doomy came to switch the volume up? It's ironic because, Doomy left Doomy and the volume, the group. Now he's going solo, but on this song, he came to switch the volume up. So it's ironic that Doomy is now switching the volume up. And also a nice play on the word switch, because he's on a track by DJ Switch. So that's a nice play there.
Niggas mad cause they got swallow your pride and cough it up. Ain't it ironic? Is it ironic? Do me came to switch the volume up, but he say hello kitty, nigga, are you nuts? Return of the king, now the bar is up, nigga.
Oh yeah, I wanted to get into that bar where he says, you said Hello Kitty, nigga, are you nuts? Which I explained that, when Doomy dropped Hello Kitty, a lot of people are like, nah, man, they weren't fucking with that joint. So he says, you said Hello Kitty, nigga, are you nuts? Return of the king, now the bar is up. So after that song, Doomy dropped the album Return of the King, right? And then on the Return of the King, he got his bars up again, from that flop of a song called Hello Kitty.
We came to switch the volume up, but he say hello kitty, nigga, are you nuts? Return of the king, now the bar is up. Niggas mad cause they got cut, never got it cut. I don't give a fuck.
I have to get into that line, man. Return of the king, now the bar is up. Niggas are mad because they got cut and never got a cut, right? Which is, when you never get a cut, it means you're not getting your bag, basically. So he says, niggas are mad because they got cut but never got a cut. I don't give a barber's fuck. So that's a dope line, because a barber is someone who gives a cut, but he says they never got a cut. I don't give a barber's fuck. So that's a dope line.
The king, now the bar is up. Niggas mad cause they got cut, never got it cut. I don't give a barber's fuck. I'm an A-hole from the A class. It's the way it go, man. 3 that.
I'm an A-hole from the A class. So Nasty C got an endorsement from Mercedes-Benz, and he was driving around in an A class. I forgot what the other car he actually had was, but that's a nice play to say. I'm an A-hole from the A class. So he's an asshole, but he says A-hole from the A class, just to stand to you that he's riding around in that Merc.
I don't give a fuck. I'm an A-hole from the A class. It's the way it go, man. 3 dots. Been the type of dude that needed no connections, man. Fuck them in that 3G spot. People wordplay, mate. Search late. If you scared, mate, go to church way. I go Hercules from a church day till it's church day, mate. Word, sir. That's just the way it go.
And basically, that is just the way it goes. Now, man, on this joint, I feel like Stogie T, when it comes to his verse, basically what he was doing, he was just dumbing it down for us, because we know what Stogie T can basically do. Okay, what's going on? So yeah, on this song, man, I feel like Stogie T really dumbed it down on this verse, because we know what he can do lyrically, And when you look at Nasty C came through on his pocket as usual. And then YoungstaCPT, up until this song came out, I think for me that was like the hottest verse that I actually heard from him. So he basically really stepped it up on this one. And based on the fact that Stogie didn't bring out his best, but Nasty C and YoungstaCPT definitely came through. I feel like they basically bodied Stogie on this song. You know, not because Stogie it's not a horrible verse, but what we've come to expect from him. I mean, you know, this should have been not exactly a walk in the park, but you know, the beat, the way everything is laid out, he should have came through, but for some reason he didn't, and yeah, that's why I feel like YoungstaCPT and Nasty definitely outdid Stogie on the song. But yeah, anyway, that's the end to my reaction. Thank you again to everyone for watching and subscribing. And remember, man, take care of your mental, and peace and love. Peace and love. That's how it is.